Hi, this is God's Aerosofters and I'm Freezer. Today I'll be bringing you a review of the JG AK-47, otherwise known as the AKS-47. This was a variant of the AK-47 brought about in the mid to late 50s for Soviet paratroopers because they needed a shorter weapon to carry with them when they jumped out of airplanes. But they never jumped out of airplanes on our heads, which is good. So, this is the gun. When you open up the gun, it'll come with de-jamming rod, a foldable foregrip, really crappy sling that will not work, which I just dropped,
Oh.
crappy trickle charger,
And a pack of 200 BBs.
and an 8.4 nickel hydrate 1100 milliamp nickel hydrate battery, stick battery. And you'll also have a 600 round waffle high cap magazine. Please zoom in on the magazine. As you see, it looks like a waffle. And I had a waffle for breakfast. It was pretty good. And the gun itself. Now, first thing you'll notice is, obviously, there is the stock right here. The stock is made of metal, but it is wobbly, as you see here. And it makes a sound, and it's not very sturdy. Like, I can bend it together like that without much effort, but I mean, it still holds up. I'll pull it against my shoulder, and it feels really solid. When I'm holding it like this, it doesn't wobble at all. I can still move it around perfectly, and it does fold under. In order to fold it under, you take the butt plate, you flip it up. There's a button right here. You push the button, and it folds under and comes up like this. It will not stay like this, it'll fall down. So what we do is, you see these ridges right here? Kind of just pull the stock apart a little bit and wedge it onto there so that it stays up. And yes, you can fold the stock while you have a magazine in the gun. It does not get in the way. But when you do have a foregrip on here, like this one, it will get in the way a little bit simply because it's sticking out and the stock is not made to do that, to go over the foregrip. Unless it's like really far forward like this, and in that case it won't stay on very well. Now the metal parts on the gun, there is the trigger guard, the trigger, and the receiver, but mostly everything else on this gun is metal. The grip is plastic, and it wobbles very, very slightly, but it is ergonomic. It is kind of contoured to your hand, so it's a little more comfortable than holding those ones that are just like big plastic square thingies. And the battery, right up here, you push this button in right here.
Another con to this weapon is that where the fuse is located, the two brass connectors that connect to the fuse do get in the way. Not really in the way, but they come undone. Therefore, your gun will not fire sometimes, so you have to go in and reconnect the fuse. A way to bypass it is to take out the fuse and put the two brass connectors together and let them sit there so you have a direct connect. But warning, if you do hook up some ridiculous voltage battery, it can fry your motor. It's a risk you do have to take sometimes.
This is broken. Well, like, I can't get it off. And to put the battery in on this gun, you simply take this top cover off.
As he's taking it off, one of the cons is there's a fuse, and the two brass connectors always come disconnected from the fuse, so that can be annoying. So what you can do to bypass it, take the fuse out, which looks like this, and take those two brass connectors and connect them to each other so you have a direct connect. But warning, that can do some harm to your gun. If you hook up a real high voltage battery and you don't have a fuse, it can fry your motor.
Thank you, Delta 1. So you connect it and slide that whole bit in there, and the battery will be right here. It is a tight fit, and I would recommend maybe getting someone to do some modding so you could run the battery connector outside and maybe put a PQB box right here. Just because having a stick battery, I'm not too much of a fan of stick batteries. I prefer the block ones, just because they're more reliable. And on collapsible stock variants of certain weapons, that's not always possible. So you need to do some modding sometimes. So now, since Delta 1's only skirmished it, he's going to tell you a little bit about the skirmishing potential of this gun.
So thanks, Freezer. So I skirmished this weapon. I really liked it because what I did is I took my ICS 3-point and attached it both ends to the sling mount right here, so it made a really nice one point, but this isn't trustworthy for long. Maybe a couple battles will last. But this gun can use regular AK mags. This is a G&G 600 round. You can also use Echo 1 mags. This one just doesn't work, so our other one does. I don't know why, but it will work. Now, one of the cons to battle when I was playing is I was bunkered in, and I had my foregrip on right here. So I tried to reload, and I kept hitting the foregrip, and it wouldn't let me reload until I pulled out to the side, and I got nailed about 10 times right here in the arm. And that's a con, unless you have a folding foregrip such as this, because it folds. Like that. So it's really nice. I mean, you don't need to shoulder a weapon. There really is no aiming in CQB. It's pretty much you come around the corner and you just go boom and shoot. Also, it's great because you can just mount a red dot right here. So if you do close quarters, you're gonna want a red dot. So you can just easily, look down. It was a great weapon for what I was using it for. Only con was the foregrip and reloading. So this has been my take on the JG Underfolder AK. It's a great buy.
Thank you, Delta 1. So going off what he said, you definitely want to get a red dot or maybe even a laser for CQB. There's plenty of rails for that, top, bottom, and both sides. The sling mounts are both on the left side of the gun, right here, by the folding stock, and up in the front, near the right under the gas release tube, or it would be on the real weapon. This one probably could be flipped over to the right side if you wanted to, but the other sling mount right here cannot be flipped over to the other side, so there's not much point. The hop-up is concealed right here behind the charging lever, as on most AK-47s. The knob is missing because we took it off because it was making some noise that didn't need to be happening. And the barrel for the weapon is 455 millimeters or 17.9 inches, which is the same as on the real AK-47. The whole gun, when it's like this, is 25 inches long, and with the stock extended, it is 35 inches long. So it's a pretty big weapon, but if you're doing it for CQB, it's keeping it in close to your body. It's not that big of a problem.
It's at the maximum of the biggest gun you want to use for a CQB with the stock fold.
Yes. And also, two cons I'd like to mention. The battery space is limited, I already said that. And one problem I've had with quite a few, actually every AK in Airsoft that I've had, it may just be the ones that I've held, or maybe it's a consistent thing. But after taking the magazine in and out a few times, the mag release right here, please zoom in on this. This knob right here, sometimes it'll pop forward and completely come out, and the mag release will completely break. So I mean, it's easily fixable. You just pop that little piece back in. But it's happened to me on my CYMA, on my Echo 1 AK, and it also happened on our G&G RK-104 once. So
overall, I want to give this, for a CQB, I would give it a 8, and for a field weapon, since the stock is a little undoable, I'll have to give it a 7. But I recommend this to intermediate players, people who know how to mess with guns and fix small cons like these. So for the price, it's a good gun to learn on, and it's a good gun to just fool with.
Thank you, Delta One. So this is God's Airsofters review of the JG AKS-47. Thanks for watching.